What is up, squad? Coach Chad here, the creator of the Fit CEO podcast. I hope you guys are doing amazing and rocking and rolling on your January. All right, I got a short podcast for you today. It's going to be less than 10 minutes. However, it could change the game for you. Look, I understand times may be tough right now. The recession is definitely going on. You're probably getting on calls and you're probably getting more no's than you are accustomed to, and that is why. That is why I decided to create this podcast, because I believe I have a strategy that can help counterbalance that. And that is going to be the re-offer strategy. All right. So I'm going to cut off here, and this is going to go into a video that I made for our students. So you guys are getting the best of the best today. All right. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, y'all. This, just prefacing, is probably going to be one of the more important aspects of the module that we're talking about. So I know it's late in the module, but please pay attention, because if you can nail this down, this is going to make a huge difference in your sales process. So let's go ahead and break it all down. So what we're going to be talking about is the re-offer strategy. All right. So here's what it is. So a re-offer is sending another offer to a prospect that you think could close, but may need some help in doing so. All right. This re-offer is sent post the original sales call. On the original sales call, you will always try your hardest to close the deal for the full package and full price. All right. So essentially, this is something that you send roughly 24 to 48 hours after a sales call that you think you should have closed, but for whatever reason didn't close. And additionally, and probably most importantly, you think this individual would be a great client. All right, here's why you're going to want a re-offer strategy. All right, so the re-offer strategy is a great way to help potential clients who you feel would be a great fit for the program get in. Additionally, the re-offer strategy increases company revenue and closers' commission by signing clients we may have not signed without a re-offer strategy. All right, and here's how to do it. All right, so there's going to be 3 different types of re-offers. Before I dive into that, I want to give you as much creative freedom as possible to, add multiple layers to the 3 different types of re-offers. So I'm not going to be very specific. I'm just going to, teach you what the 3 types are, and then I want you to fill in the blanks with your, creativity. All right, so re-offer type 1, you're going to offer more stuff for the same price. So here's what that looks like. So overall, you want the more stuff to solve a particular fear or problem that they may have in their fitness. Right. So whatever on the sales call you felt like was tripping them up. Maybe it's they don't feel like they have the right, they don't have enough time, or they have a fear around some sort of mindset around dieting, or they have a fear of whatever, fill in the blank, right? You're going to counteract that by giving them more stuff for the same price. So that can be extra one-to-one calls if you do that, or if you're willing to do that. It could be a group of one-to-one calls. So I'm going to give you a bundle of 5, right? It can also be access to things that aren't normally in the offer, right? So these could be particular resources or whatever, right? I really want you to use your creative genius here, but another example would be like adding in a nutrition consultation, adding in mindset calls. Like I said, use your creative bandwidth here, but the overall goal is to be able to provide them with things that you think are going to solve the original problems, fears, and doubts that they were having on the call, or challenges as well in terms of what's holding them back to reaching their goals. All right, so re-offer type 1, offer more stuff for the same price. All right, re-offer type 2, offer more time for the same price. So generally this re-offer is going to be used for the individual who says that they just don't have enough time to do the program, right? So this would be giving them 4 months for the price of 3, or 8 months for the price of 6, or 15 months for the price of 12. Things that you should factor into that is, if you have assistant coaches, you're going to have to pay those assistant coaches for the extra free months. So you have to be okay with that. So maybe it's just adding 1 extra free month, right? So 7 for the price of 6, or 13 for the price of 12. This all comes down to what you're willing to do versus what you're not willing to do. But re-offer type 2 is offer more time for the same price. All right, re-offer type 3 is offer the same stuff for cheaper. So you don't change the offer, but you change the price. All right, so this typically is used for individuals when finances is the main concern. All right, so just giving you a couple of ideas here. If you do have a financing company, maybe your financing company, you do 12 months installments. Let's say they get accepted for the installment plans. One compromise that you could do is you give them an extra 3 months of installments. So instead of paying it off in 12 months, they pay it off in 15 months. That's an example. All right. If they are willing to do a payment plan, you can give them the pay in full rate on a payment plan, right? That's an example. If they're willing to pay in full, you can give them 10% off the pay in full. All right. When I say willing to do the pay in full, meaning like they're like, I want to pay in full. I'm not sure. Right. You could say, hey, I got you. I'll give you that 10% off. And remember, all of this is off the call. You don't do any of this on the sales call. You're trying to get them in for the full program. That you send all of these messages 24 to 48 hours after the call. Another example could be if they put X down, you're willing to extend their remaining payments over X installments. All right. So what this is usually you try to get a greater amount down. So if let's say you have a package for $3,000 and you say, if you can put $1,000 down, I'll take that remaining $2,000 and I can spread that out. Usually it would be over 8 months. I'll spread it out over 12 months. Right. So what you're doing here is it's a compromise. I'm going to pull more forward to give you a longer payment plan. All right. So the benefit for them is they get longer payment plan. The benefit for you is you're getting a higher down payment. Okay, so those are the 3 different types of reoffers. You have more stuff, same price. You have more time, same price. And then you have the offer is the same for cheaper. All right, now I'm going to go over the 3 different ways on which you can message prospects in regards to this. So once again, you are not limited to these scripts. These scripts serve as a general guideline. And then ideally, once again, you're sending the reoffer 24 hours after the original sales call, just to capitalize on the freshness of the call. All right, so frame number 1 is scarcity. All right, so I talked to Chad and he must be in a good mood because he allowed me to offer you pricing, which we never give out. I'd ask that you please not share this with anyone because it's considerably less than our normal price. And this is meant for just you. All right, so scarcity equals having a limited number of something. All right, so the goal here is to make them feel like their reoffer is one of one, right? When you go to buy a pair of shoes and it says like these shoes are 1 of 50 in the world, right? It makes you feel special. It's the same thing here. You're giving them an offer that's unique to them and that can make them feel special and that can help close and facilitate the deal. All right, so that's frame number 1. Frame number 2 is urgency. All right, so we had a holiday promotion that ended, but I've been given the green light to extend the discounted pricing to you if you're able to make the decision on the payments today. Right? Urgency is a limited amount of time. So the goal here is to give them an offer, but then attach a time frame that they need to make a decision by. Usually that time frame is like 24 to 72 hours. All right, and then frame number 3 is the law of reciprocity. All right, so this is written as if you have a closer. Like I said, you're not limited to these scripts. The goal here is just so you understand what this means. All right, so essentially what this script says is, hey man, let me be honest with you, it's the end of the month, and if I make one more sale, I'm going to hit my bonus. I may be able to pull some strings and get you a steep discount. It would help you out with payments, and it would help me out immensely, which I would really appreciate. It seems like other than the price, the program is a great fit for you. If I can get you a price at XYZ, would you agree that that makes sense to move forward? All right. So the law of reciprocity essentially states that, you're going to give them something, they're going to give you something in return. All right. So I'm going to help you, you're going to help me. All right. That's just an example. Once again, this can be an example if you have a closer. If you don't have a closer and you're doing all this yourself, you can just reframe the wording a little bit. But law of reciprocity is, hey, I'm going to help you, you're going to help me. Okay. I would only use this one too. I got a little note here. I would only use this one if you feel like you had a great connection with the individual on the call. If you didn't, the frame number 3 is not my preferred. Honestly, my preferred is frame 2 and frame 1. All right, if you do have closers, how does this affect commission? So if the client does close on a reoffer for less money, the commission payment is proportional to the size of the package. So to give you an example, if you traditionally do 10% commission and your package is $2,000, however, they gave them a discount, now they're selling it for $1,500, they're still going to get the 10%, but the commission is going to be less. So it's always going to be proportional. All right. If they use more stuff for the same price or more time for the same price, it's not going to affect their commission. It's only if they finagle the price that it could affect your closer's commission. All right. That is going to conclude this video, and I'll see you guys in the next module. Peace.